Imagine being an artist that gets accused of AI, and then when you after double and tripling down and nobody believes you, you then make a hate art post about somebody that called you out, drawing them pregnant. Yeah, that's what this artist did. So let's get into it. So this is the account in question, and the account is named Nadiax_art. Again, don't send hate to this artist or anybody else for this matter. But they do a lot of fan art, a lot of book fan art specifically. So this is an art piece of Violet Soaringale from Fourth Wing. I love Fourth Wing, guys. I got my boyfriend to read it. It's so good. So hard vouch if you haven't read Fourth Wing. Amazing, amazing series. But here they kind of give a close up of the artwork of we can see Taryn, kind of Taryn's face. Here we have the very first piece that they've posted onto their page. But yeah, this is Fair Acheron, the female lead in Akatar or A Court of Thrones and Roses. And here they put X, not AI, X in the bio. And then again, at the very end of their caption as well, they put X, not AI, X to try to like seal the deal for you. And the comments are restricted. So here we have the post that kind of cracked everything open. This is posted by WW is Parts. And the image reads, why I believe Nadiax art uses AI. Everything in this is my opinion. It is not meant to defame, harm, or slander any persons involved. Please swipe to read. By the way, again, you can see the first line in Nadia's bio reads human, no AI. It adds the details blend in together in an unnatural way. The lines often only go around major shapes. This is not the normal process. So here details kind of like of the quiver kind of blending together, of the arm blending together. Where is the hand? Why is everything blended together so weirdly, but there are oddly unblended details if you zoom. And here this looks to be of an archer and the hand holding the bow is completely gone. Interjecting some personal fun fact completely unrelated, but your girl actually like competed nationally for archery. I trained at the Olympic Training Center. I shot for like 7 years. Hee hee, cat fun fact. Completely unrelated. You don't need to have like a junior Olympic background in archery to understand that you need a hand to hold the bow, but you know, have you guys note that that art piece is actually deleted off of their Instagram page. The next slide reads uneven circles and no clear details anywhere. It all blends together. So kind of looking at the belt detailing, it's all kind of muddy. The circles on the shoulder armor is not fully clear. The armor detail doesn't make any sense. The laces often don't connect, meld together, or just disappear. And here we have laces on the side of the body armor, and the laces are everywhere. Man, they're zigzagged left, right, and center. Kind of looks like you close your eyes and try drawing a zigzag as best as possible, and this is what you came up with. I'll have you note if you go to their page, that post is also gone. The belts don't make any sense and has blurry details that to me looks a lot like slightly blended AI. So here there's a corset with what looks to be 3 belts, but they're all like stacked on top of each other and kind of blended together. Trying to be understanding and give benefit, but seeing details like this that so obviously AI is painful as an artist. And this is gold lace detailing on the chest, torso, and a little bit of the skirt area of a green dress. And it does look really AI. Again, with AI, it's horrible at drawing details so that it will draw details that look like it makes sense when you look at it from far away, but when you look up close, there's no rhyme or reason to the brushstrokes. And almost all the time when an artist puts pen to paper or stylus to tablet, there is intention behind every brushstroke, and this has no intentions. This piece though is actually up on the page still, which it has not been deleted yet, and if you zoom in you can kind of see all of that. Here it reads, the moth is blending into the skin. There is unblended blurry detail under the work and the line art put over it doesn't hide the AI image peeking through. That's kind of circling the moth, and the moth is not drawn properly, by the way. That's not how like the body of a moth looks like. The hair is blending into the dress and skin. The back anatomy makes no sense. And again, the slightly blurred detail just underneath. Looking over here, here we have kind of the back. And this looks to be like an arm that's kind of like bent, peeking out from the back, but like the dress just completely connects. It's a bit odd. And the hair, there's no really distinction here. Another piece, hair coming out of nowhere. The eye is blurry and melts into the hair. The hair is super detailed in the middle here, but when you zoom in, none of the details make sense. Kind of you have the flowing here. The laces on this dress are blurry, melt into each other, and melt into the dress. This is not normal for artists who draw every detail by hand. Here, again, the lace detailing, very odd. This piece is also deleted, by the way. Most of the flowers melt into each other and are very similar to AI flowers. None of their time lapses shows her whole screen, so we cannot see that she's not color picking from AI or cutting out the tracing. She blames having no tripod, but this is not a good excuse. There are plenty of other artists that have done the work to find images that are oddly similar to Nadia's work. And here we have a side by side of Nadia's work plus like an AI art piece with a very similar pose and like backlighting. Again, not a smoking gun because AI does train off human artwork, but it's a bit odd. More images. The hair in both of these images blend together in the same way. The one on the left is an AI piece. You can kind of see the shape, the flow, etc. of the hair. Again, not necessarily a smoking gun on this, but the thing for me that's a bit odd is the hair coming all the way out and then coming back in like that. And I know, before you guys come in the comment section, that is an art decision, a choice. I personally do use the back out, back in again for when I draw my characters with hair. I just think it looks pretty, but it needs to be done in a way that makes sense. And it coming out and coming back in a literal U shape, like out of the head, is just not how hair behaves. Not to mention, again, details that don't make sense. Here we have side bangs, right? So she has side bangs that come in and then just absolutely disappear into the hair. Like there's no flow into it, it's just gone. It reads, I understand that not all artists have the same process, but when an artist is using a process that is only really seen with AI traces, or when an artist's work when zoomed in is very unclear, blurry, and has artifacts that don't make sense, then it's safe to assume that they are probably using AI in their process. For me personally, as somebody who has reached out to Nadia and tried to give her the opportunity to admit to her AI usage, the only thing that proves that you have not used AI nowadays is to produce a time lapse that cannot be edited or have hidden layers that you could hide the AI on. For example, using Clip Studio Paint, Media Bang, or IBS Paints, which is free, would prove that you do not use AI. She refuses to do any of these. At the end of the day, I cannot prove definitively that Nadia has used AI, but as somebody with nearly 10 years in the industry who has been making both traditional and digital art my entire life and has been selling commissions for more than 6 years, when I look at her work, I do not see work that is entirely human made. I see work that is painted over AI with blurred areas to hide the AI use. If you have any of the mistakes or habits that she displays, it doesn't mean that you are using AI. And it doesn't mean that every person displaying these things uses AI. But it does mean that if you have all of these things put together and your work comes across as not only very AI, but you offer no real proof to the contrary, then people are only left to assume that you do use AI in the work, and you're left lying to people and profiting off of what is essentially people's stolen art. Please don't send Nadia any harassment or unkindness, just don't support her. Anyone sending any hate is no friend of mine. The next slide is for you, Nadia. Basically, TLDR, very long apology of how it had to come to this public call out that Nadia clearly has skill, but that it's disappointing she chooses to resort to AI. And the caption reads, I'm making this post not to hate on Nadia, but to bring awareness to the people who don't know what sign to look for in regards to AI usage and artwork. I am a deeply unconfrontational person, and even posting this is making me feel unwell and incredibly anxious. But it must be said, Nadia is getting more paid work than most artists within her price range, and the work that she makes is using AI. It is not just me who thinks this. It is many other artists and commissioners who have gone through her work and cannot find any proof that she makes all her work herself. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Please don't send hate to anybody. This is just to bring awareness to people who are giving this person their money under the pretenses of it being human made when it is in fact not. The most I would say is it is human altered. Please be kind to everyone involved. And the people in the comment section again are mentioning the Procreate private layers thing. If you guys don't know, if you use Procreate, you could insert a layer, hide the layer, and then trace it, and then it won't show in the time lapse. I don't know why Procreate added that because nobody asked for it. So the one final thing that I will have to add with Nadia's artwork being suspicious to me, and this is no flame if you do this yourself, but this is just odd because of the accusations Nadia is being accused of. AI is the fact that the level of rendering and the level of line work that she does just does not match up at all. Right? If you look at the level of rendering, it looks like extremely highly detailed rendering, right? With like the very detailed bodysuit, the Terran, the dragon is very well rendered. And then you go closer and you look at the line work, and the line work is choppy. It is shaky, it's choppy. They're kind of coloring outside of the lines, like some of Terran's wings. You can see here, there's just like color blocks outside of the lines here. Even up here for the scales, the line work is kind of doubled over and then more coloring outside the lines. There's like a forgotten brush stroke straight across the chest of Terran. And then here on the wing, there's just a lot of like overlapping line strokes that are just kind of like choppy. Disconnected line work again here. And the line work is black. It's not even colored in. It's a bit odd to me. Again, no flame if you draw like this. Like this one's pretty egregious, but if you look over here on the other part of the wing, right? The line is just completely disconnected from the arm, or what do you call it? Like the limb for the wing. The line work just cuts straight across. It's completely forgotten. So to me, it's just a bit odd that you can have like such high level of rendering, but such choppy line work. No flame. You see my YouTube thumbnails. I do those things in like 10 minutes, okay? Because I'm not trying to give free fan art to people who do crappy stuff. So it's going to be the choppiest line work you've ever seen. But the rendering matches up to it, okay? Because I barely render those things. But here we have another one. Here we have Violet Soaring Gale. The lavenders in the background look giga AI. This, dude, I was gonna say I would bet on my cat's life this is AI, but I love my kitty so much I would never compromise his life. And then again, there's no rhyme or reason or detail to the lavenders. There's such heavy artifacting happening over here. But then again, we look back at the line work. Look at the choppy line work for the hair. Some of the lines for the hair are super thick and black and like shaky, and then there's just missing line work in other parts, you know? Here we have a more detail of this like really thick choppy line work for the hair. It's just odd. And then again, the hair is kind of doing the coming out and then coming all the way back in and connecting into nothing, which is something that AI does with hair. I also just think it's funny that Nadia adds in the caption, it's prohibited to distribute, reproduce, or share the materials posted on this website, including the graphic design, images, or any of their elements, regardless of the reason or purpose. It is also forbidden to upload these materials or any part of them to any other server. And then here we have Zayden and Violet, more fourth wing fan art. And if we just, the sky looks so AI, the clouds, everything. And again, once again, we have this like really high level of rendering for the skin and the face, and the line art is just not matching up. And this is just something that you will see with like AI tracers because they will take the AI and then the level of rendering the AI has is higher than their actual skill, but they'll try to like cover it up by painting it over a little. So it will look a little choppy. And then they'll try to line everything with like line art, black line art to try to bring everything together to make it look more cohesive. I've just seen this happen more than once, guys. And again, I'm beating a dead horse, but the final piece we're going to look at for the line work again is we have line work for the hair, but it just stops here out of nowhere. The ear is floating out of the hair. It's not blended into the hair at all. It's like you just took the ear and stuck it on the side of her head. Choppy line work for part of the dress, and then again, it just disappears. But I know that it's an artistic choice to make line work disappear, you know, like selectively, but this doesn't look like it was done with intention. And then so here's some responses Nadia had. This is something they posted on their story about, I guess, the hands in response to the post posted by WW about the missing hand. So Nadia posted the call out and then they posted like what looks to be the blocking of the character and then the hand, and they write hand argument is really shit now, isn't it? Deleted the hand since it didn't match. And they have, oh, so it was a crossbow, not an actual archery bow. Okay, my bad. I was tooting my own horn for no reason. Yeah, the hand doesn't match because you drew two right hands, right? This is a right hand. This is supposed to be a left hand, but the thumb is in the right hand position. And I can give benefit of doubt because I've done this too. I can't even tell left from right IRL, you know, I had to do this. So who am I to flame you for using the wrong hand? But that's why it looks wrong, because you drew two right hands. Somebody probably told you already. You probably know, but. So then we're talking about speed paints, whatever. So here they have this post that says dress texture tutorial. So here it's a quick video, but you can see they kind of have the post and they're showing you how to make a glitter texture. So they took a photo and then they warped it over the clothing and then they, I guess, swapped it to like what looks to be like a multiplier overlay layer, and then they decreased the opacity of it. They show that you repeat it for the rest of the body. So photo bashing is a hotly debated topic in the art community, and that's what that is. You take pictures, you stick it onto your art, and then you paint over it. It's hotly debated. Is photo bashing used by professionals in the industry? Can be, right? I'm not a professional. How would I know? I would say, in terms of ethics, right? If you do photo bash, please have the rights to the photo that you are bashing together with your artwork to claim it's yours and painting over. Just me. Would love to hear your opinions on photo bashing in the art process. But you see now how we can run into a very slippery slope, because if you start photo bashing and then you photo bash using AI and then your piece is gonna look like AI because you painted over AI images. Not saying that's what happened here. I won't ever know for certain. But here we have another speed paint. So here, this is what you mean, right? Where they're showcasing the fact they're drawing, but you never see really their full iPad. You only see a corner of their iPad. Guys, even if you have like a no tripod, whatever, you film with your hand. I do like social media coaching, right? I feel like you don't need somebody who does social media coaching to tell you that it's typically ideal to film your entire canvas when you're doing speed paints. And the caption reads what the song says, which I'm gonna mute. Video from my lovely client so you can see I am legit human, not AI. And for sad haters who still persist, I'm AI. Turn your 2-month long attempt of harassing me and constantly accusing me of AI were useless. Recording with one hand and drawing with the second is a bit hard, but artists gotta do what they gotta do nowadays. So in this case, we can see that they're not tracing an image in Procreate because it's hidden now. Now we see the bottom chunk of their canvas and they're showcasing they're doing some line work, etc. One thing I do want to point out, and again, because of the way this is filmed and how shaky this is filmed, there's a lot of things that could have been left out, etc. Because it's sped up, it's really shaky, etc. A lot is cut out, right? Bam, now our thing is fully colored and they claim to not have a tripod, but now both their hands are visible in the shot, so something is holding the post, the art piece. And again, look, just look how convenient that we don't see the entire iPad. Like, what do you mean you have a tripod? I see, like maybe the tripod, like whatever, but you have a tripod or something of some sort. You couldn't slide the iPad over 1.5 inches so you could see the entire canvas because there was an accusation by people that they were color selecting off of a tiny image in the corner, which we would never know for certain because we cannot see half the iPad. But not to beat a dead horse, but just I'm gonna pause it at a point where you can really see. But I want you to take a look at their sketch and then their line art. This is the face they give us for the sketch. Guys, I'm trying so hard because I don't want you guys to take what I say out of context or whatever. I'm not trying to dog because side profiles are hard to draw, especially if you aren't referencing images. Really hard to draw a side profile. Even with references, I fuck it up real bad, okay? But this is not the line art you later show us. Because this clearly they're not like tracing or referencing anything. So like, okay, this is the first sketch. This is what we see later. Again, of course, you're not gonna one-shot the side profile perfectly. You're gonna need to rework it, whatever, etc., to make it like more clean, whatever. I'm not saying that didn't happen, right? I'm just saying we didn't see it. So we got the sketch from this, right? Which is a little bit, it's not the bone structure that we see later on. And then it kind of like cleans up a little bit into this. Again, not really the bone structure we see. And then we get this. So again, there was refinement happening that we just didn't see because the camera was filming the bottom of the iPad. So could there have been other stuff referenced? Possibly. Could they just have really cleaned up the sketch while we weren't seeing themselves without referencing anything else off camera? And then they came back with this? Could be. Because again, look at the way that the face is being colored, right? Which is again to me a bit suspicious. I've said this before in many of my videos. I'm not going to say very much here because y'all are going to be tired of me. But Nadia is coloring as if there is already environmental lighting. Because look at the color selected for the face. It is a pasty mud gray. Okay, this is like the color of death. And it would make sense once you paint the environment in, that color theory, all that. When the environment is drawn in, that color for the skin will actually make sense. That color for the skin on top of this like baby sage green color in the background does not make sense because it looks like she's death incarnate walking on earth. So again, either she is an absolute god in terms of color theory and therefore she can one-shot the color straight out the gate without needing to draw in the environment, or there is some color selecting happening off screen that we're not seeing. You can come to your own conclusion as to which you think is happening. I have my own conclusion, right? Because again, if you look at the painting process, there's just colors being slapped on and then blended that seem to be blending with no rhyme or reason. Like out of the blue, there's like some baby red for the lip. All right, put it here, blend. And then we get some like a really muddy brown gray for the eyes, slap it on there, blend it. And then blue for the highlight, slap it on there, blend it. Again, not saying you can't paint like this, right? Many people do kind of like a more paint by numbers-esque painting style. It's possible. I'm also saying that almost everybody who traces off AI and then has to prove themselves also paint like this. But here's another one. This is the speed paint of the crossbow character, the one that received the most criticism about AI. And here again, we kind of have the same thing happening with the speed painting, where we're seeing that it is really zoomed in to only one chunk of the screen. We cannot see the full iPad. And they make an accusation of, oh, I don't have a tripod, etc. Except we see two hands here, so there's something. So again, I'm just saying that, there are cases maybe this person just really doesn't know social media at all, so therefore they don't know that you should be showing your entire iPad for the most part if you are trying to showcase a speed painting. It just makes the video perform better in the social media algorithm. Maybe they don't know that. But I would also say that it doesn't disprove potential tracing allegations, you know what I mean? But going back to this whole back and forth situation, on March 29th, somebody posted on Threads, wow, not Nadia telling somebody to end themselves for calling out AI. She could post a time lapse or use a tripod to demonstrate her whole process, but she can't because it would reveal AI in her layers that she's tracing and color picking from. And in the comments, Nadia says, LOL, it's not, referring to AI. Any proof of me generating it in AI? No? Then perish, loser. At user, because I'm drawing it, but people have no clue about art keep accusing me of it. They are sad little losers. I don't think anybody said your work is like strictly only generated images, right? People are accusing you of painting over generated images. So you did put brushstrokes on it on AI. And by the way, Nadia has been called out as early as February 2025 with this post on Threads reading. So I'm gonna start naming AI accounts because I'm tired as hell of this shit. Us artists work too hard to have somebody out here trying to pass AI for commissions. Everybody share and block. And this was Nadia back in February with only 500 followers. And then we have another thread posted, and this was recent. This was only posted 3 days ago, so this was posted like April 30th, by Callie Creates on Threads, writing, "Now, I've made it a personal mission for my mental health to try and stay out of AI callouts, but this crosses a line. And I'll preface this by saying this isn't actually a does she or doesn't use AI question, but more a post of ethics and morals. Warning, Nadia art. This is a long thread, so buckle up. Now, I've been back and forth over this for the past few months. Initially, I was suspicious. Then she released a speed paint and I was like, maybe she's legit. And here we have a video where Nadia posted, Drawing My Haters Pregnant Part 1. So she showcases kind of like a thread that somebody had made calling her out. And then a speed paint of her drawing them pregnant. And people are talking about how the bullying or the AI accusations is bullying and triggering, and that there are a lot of speed paints proving that she draws legitimately, etc. Which, like, need I say, drawing your haters pregnant is like absolutely wild behavior? But this is what the caption read, and this post looks to be deleted now. I wonder why. But Nadia writes, Drawing My Haters Pregnant Part 1. This post is intended as a joke. I've blurred the face and name to avoid sending hate towards this individual. Unlike her, don't spread negativity. What do you mean you like blurred their face, but then you drew their face, so like we still basically know how they look like? And a commenter writes, I'm sorry, but there's absolutely no excuse for this behavior. This isn't fighting fire with fire. This is outright cyberbullying and disgusting behavior. I cannot fathom that you're advocating as a professional artist in this space, yet you are behaving like a child. The adult thing here would be to block and move on with the people you don't wish to interact with. Drawing somebody like this is absolutely gross behavior, and whether you use AI or not, you should be ashamed of yourself, and everyone supporting this bully behavior should be too. I'm glad I saw this because it's given me a catalog of your supporters that I can block and share with genuinely nice people to block because this was not the way. Anyone supporting this outrageous behavior needs to check themselves. Absolutely disgusting. There is no excuse. Whether you use AI or not doesn't matter because your personality shining through is more revolting than AI anyways. Absolutely shame on you for this. Okay, and this is fucking weird, okay? So, Nadia then posted this 2 days later. A small clarification. I didn't expect that a simple drawing of a beautiful pregnant woman would cause such outrage. To lighten the mood and show I can take a joke myself, I decided to draw myself pregnant this time. Not sure yet if it's a boy or girl. What do you think? I think it's a baby dragon, honestly. I genuinely didn't intend to upset anyone, and I'm still surprised that this drawing sparked more public anger than the months of false accusations and harassment I endured, even during my recovery from a cancer. That didn't seem to bother anyone. I understand art can provoke reactions, but sometimes it seems that defending yourself with a drawing is seen as worse than the harm that inspired it. What the woe is me is this? Sorry, I've never seen somebody like do something atrocious and then turn around and draw themselves pregnant as an apology. We'll take the cake for the wildest thing that I've heard of lately. By the way, on a complete side note, the eyes are looking mad AI to me as well. Like, again, like, obviously, this is a really fast piece with how choppy the stomach looks, etc. But, like, dude, the way the eyes are rendered and, like, the face is rendered relative to the rest of everything else is just kind of very different. But, anyways, I'm already beating a dead horse with, like, all the stuff I'm talking about. Callie continues, after speaking to other artists on the subject with a sharper eye than myself, I've come to my own conclusions. But that's not the point. Nadia and I have had a lot of discussions. I showed her ways to prove she was legit. I gave honest feedback. I even effing apologized when I thought I was wrong. I would have even considered us friends at one point. Not now. Not after this despicable behavior. Nadia decided the best thing to do, instead of blocking, reporting, and ignoring haters like an actual normal adult, has decided to take their images without their consent and draw them in ways they haven't consented to. She took an image of somebody and drew them pregnant. For me, as a human being, as a mother, and as I like to think generally nice person, this is crossing a huge line. She has no idea of this person's personal struggles, if they struggle with fertility or loss as a main example. She has no idea how upsetting and triggering something like this could be. Or maybe she does, and that makes it even crueler. As a professional in this space, I am deeply shocked and appalled that anybody would resort to such awful behavior. Whether she uses AI or not at this point is besides the point. This behavior is disgraceful, and I implore everyone to avoid working with such a terrible person. Not only is it cruel, nasty, and completely unhinged behavior, it absolutely crosses the line as a professional, and I genuinely cannot believe that anyone would support such abhorrent actions. I've been blocked now, but I got a screen recording of the post and of the comments, and I've blocked every single person that agreed and encouraged the post and anyone who agrees with that sort of action. Please make yourself known so I can be sure to never work with you. Shame on Nadia, and shame on the people who continue to support such disgusting actions. And Kate Asher, author, says, she's the artist that tried to brand me as a scammer when I lodged a refund request with PayPal. But Nadia has their side to say, and Nadia writes, I am a human artist addressing AI allegations. This is really a wolf in sheep's clothing moment. It reads, first, speed paint, because actions speak louder than words. Speed paint from app where it cannot be faked. Faked AI time lapses don't show brushstrokes, specific nature brushes, or techniques. Look, again, the accusation wasn't that your time lapse was faked. Like, we know in Procreate, which is where you draw in, that you can add stuff and trace over it, and it will show up as a hidden layer. Response to allegations. Many claim that professional artists, in quotes, see my work as AI generated. However, it's important to recognize that many professional artists also understand and see that my art is not created by AI. Just because somebody holds a title doesn't make their opinion factual. There might be like an off chance that you're right, like in like the 0.00001% chance, yeah. But that's like me going to the doctor and being like, yeah, well, like WebMD told me that I have so and so condition, so I'm not gonna listen to you. My art is very easy to recognize. AI couldn't replicate it. Eye styles and expressions are similar. Hair flowing and the way it's moving and glowing as well, mine. Same way I do outfits, backgrounds, color hues, poses, face, nose, lips, etc. Most people can see it's made by one person with one style. Let's continue exploring the authenticity of my work. Sorry, I'm just laughing because this to me is really funny. Their style is very recognizable, true, because it's so odd. The level of rendering and the level of line work just don't match at all. And that's what makes it notable. But it's not notable for a good reason. Again, I'm not trying to dog on you if you have high rendering and choppy line work. Like, again, I'm sorry if my disclaimers are really annoying. It's because like people sometimes come in the comments and then take it personally as if I'm like calling you out. I'm not. There is a style of like, you know, like really thin, like choppy line work and then the art rendering, whatever. The thing is, it makes sense. Like when you look at the piece, it just makes sense. And when you look at their artwork, it just doesn't make sense. And that is the difference. Like you can tell when it's done with an artistic choice and you can tell when it's done because the artist has no idea what they're doing. So they add, here are my older pieces created before AI art was made. So here's a Snapchat horse that was drawn in 2021. I would say, like, I mean, well, if we're gonna argue this, you know, OpenAI's GPT-3 was released in like 2019. So that actually doesn't really fly because the statement of this was before AI art was invented is actually, in my opinion, untrue from my knowledge. So they have like a private post being shared from 2020 of their artwork. They tried furry art. I think it's funny they say, I tried furry. Please, I am not a furry. And they cite it as 2019. Older pieces, more furry artwork from 2020. Another artwork posted in 2020, time lapses. I have many time lapse videos previously posted and more coming in the future. I've pinned time lapse videos in my IG story so you can see proof of me creating these works. 1. Hand recorded. The videos show my process up close, and it's important to note that they can't be faked since AI can't fake that. 2. App recordings. For those who have raised concerns about my hand covering parts of the canvas, you can also view recordings captured from the software. 3. More incoming in the future, live streams on IG, and more time lapses. There is literally a video under that art how I made this butterfly with a time lapse. The argument has no sense. My work is authentically human, my inspiration. You mentioned similarities between my work and AI generated art. I'd like to highlight another artist. Wlop is known for their semi-realistic style. Artists often employ techniques that may appear less sorry, my brain's slow. No way you're comparing yourself to Wlop, the absolute god themselves, who 3D renders entire worlds so they can paint over it in their artwork. Wlop is actually my background, my wallpaper. You're not the same. You 3D render entire world so that you can paint over it in your art, so that all of it, every aspect of it is legitimately yours in your process. Sorry, they continue. This is a common practice in art, not an indication of AI use. Just like Wlop, I focus on the overall impact of my art, and not every detail needs to be perfectly rendered. Truth about AI, why similarities occur in art. It's important to recognize that AI models are trained on a wide variety of art styles, including styles like mine. This makes logical sense that an AI-generated images may share similarities to my original work. No way. This is gonna sound so mean, guys, but no way they're elevating their art so highly that they think AI trained on it. AI obviously would train on people like Studio Ghibli, you know? You're not Studio Ghibli. You're painting over AI, man. Think of it like fake Adidas logos. These fakes might look similar, but they're not the real thing. Just as nobody would accuse Adidas of copying a fake logo, it's unfair to accuse me of using AI because something looks similar. My art comes from my own creativity and skill, while AI art is simply imitating what it has learned. No way you're comparing yourself to Adidas, bro. How AI works, photo bashing common artists. How AI works, copies styles. AI learns from tons of images, looking at color shapes, patterns. Anyways, they explain how AI works, and they say that I can't be a human and make mistakes. My mistakes are clearly human made, not robot made. I often notice mistakes in other artworks, including the one who accused me. I could just as easily label their work as AI generated by nitpicking every small detail, but I choose not to do that. I focus on improving my skills. I am a self taught artist. I've been drawing ever since I got a pencil in my hand as a 3-year-old kid. I've been selling commissions since 2017 on Facebook and on DeviantArt for points. I recently created a tutorial on the photo bashing technique, which is commonly used by many well known artists. The method allows artists to combine different elements into a cohesive piece, enhancing their creative process. Many well known artists like Feng Zhu and Maciej Kuciara utilize photo bashing in their work, showcasing that it's a standard practice in the industry. The technique is not a shortcut, it's a legitimate artistic approach that has been embraced by professionals. By employing photo bashing, I'm following in the footsteps of established artists. My methods are rooted in common artistic practices, and the textures aren't AI made. Again, another page on how AI works. So, about the video faking, I face criticism regarding my videos, with some claiming they indicate AI involvement. Let me clarify. And then they point out some like things people pointed out. Visible layer. Some claim there's a faint AI layer. If that were true, altering the contrast or brightness would reveal it, a point they conveniently overlook. Okay, so if that is an argument people have made that it's a faint AI layer, your argument is untrue. Like, oh, if you change the contrast or brightness, do you not know how cameras work? Like, when people accuse people basically of having really faint artwork, they accuse you basically of having really faint artwork. Then when filming, you up the brightness so the brightness in the video recorded on the camera is too bright to showcase the line work. But if you take the video and you lower the brightness, it wouldn't magically make what wasn't recorded into the camera then appear. You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. So basically I'm saying, whether that is there a faint AI layer they're tracing over and they increase the brightness? Probably not. The video doesn't look weirdly bright to me. But this argument of this isn't true is actually an untrue argument. Anyways, cuts in the video. While editing to fit the content, I may have cuts due to storage limitations. I can't record for hours. Second video. In this video, I focus on coloring. Despite the absence of cuts, accusations arose I must be copying from AI. Again, like they're arguing like moot points here. You know what I mean? They're fighting like an invisible battle, right? When people tell people who are accused of AI, like there's cuts in your video, so therefore it doesn't prove you didn't use AI. It's a true statement, right? If you have cuts in your video, then there could be parts of the process we didn't see. So that means this video doesn't prove nor deny the fact you used AI, right? So the video can't be used in evidence because it's not sufficient enough. Third video, I recorded 3 hours of footage without any cuts or edits, capturing the entire screen. Yet, despite the transparency of the process, critics fell silent. App time lapses. Well, I haven't seen this third video, but app time lapses to further validate my process, I've recorded additional videos directly from the software and more will follow. Yeah, the problem is because they draw in Procreate, nobody will ever believe their app time lapses, so that's also a moot point. In conclusion, every line of my artwork is intentional, crafted with care and purpose, unlike AI generated images. One individual making accusations may believe they understand art, yet works in a cartoon style rather than semi-realism, which can limit their perspective on why not every detail must be perfectly rendered. By the way, I will also add, I used to draw in semi-realism, and I totally understand you don't fully render everything, but their stuff just looks odd to me. Typically, artists specializing in realism or semi-realism, particularly those with over 30 years of experience, can recognize the techniques I use. Unfortunately, criticism often comes from those without the expertise or experience in the genre. Are they trying to gaslight? I'm just saying many a moons ago, I have done semi-realism, okay? My eyeballs are telling me something in your artwork looks a little funky. Anyways, I digress. It's important to differentiate between genuine artists and to allow them the chance to calmly present their truth without resorting to aggression. Instead of spreading hate and making posts filled with negativity, let's promote understanding. Witch hunts have harmed many artists, leading to serious mental health issues. Such behavior is all too common on platforms like Twitter, targeting innocent creators. Accusing me and claiming that my work is AI is not only untrue, but defamatory. Arguments like finding a similar pose or highlighting technique are weak at best. My works showcase a consistent style, clear progress, and my unique brushstrokes, supported by video screenshots and previous pieces that validate my identity as an artist. I become a target of cyberbullying, facing hateful DMs, cruel comments, and damaging posts. It's essential to foster a community that supports rather than attacks. So here we have impact of hate, and then they specifically call out a commenter that's like calling them out. Like 2 pages are dedicated to this commenter. To me, I just think this is very interesting because it's a whole lot of nothing burger to me, right? Like if people accuse you of AI, and it does happen that genuine artists are unfairly accused of AI, you know, the easy solution is you just live stream your art. People can't argue with that. You live stream it, we can see it live time happening, but every time, man. And here Callie posted, I'll let the video speak for itself. Undeniable proof that Nadiax art is using AI and not drawing her own artwork. Peep the date of 2023 in the last slide. This is Nadia's artwork, and you can see there is an AI art piece that lines up 1-to-1 with the dress. You see it, the body, everything. It's 1-to-1. This is Nadia's artwork in quotes. This is the AI piece in question. The head is obviously decapitated and changed, but the dress, the body is the same. And here, this was posted June 17th, 2024, and it sees fairy forest elf something 2023. So either if you're going by 2023 or the 2024 date, this was posted November 2024. So regardless, July 2024, if we use the later date, still comes earlier. This is wild. I always think it's really funny because obviously it's very frustrating if you're a legitimate artist and you get accused of AI, but I find that these AI paint over people double, triple down so hard. Like screaming with the not AI in all caps, big emojis in the captions, putting human artist no AI in your bio, and screaming that you're not AI doesn't change the fact that there is irrefutable evidence that your artwork in question, an AI image that you sloppily painted over and tried to pass off as your own. To wrap it all up, don't send hate to any parties involved. Do you think your audience is stupid? This is absolute undeniable proof that you are just posting AI paintovers. Maybe not every single piece, but it looks to be a huge chunk of your pieces are like this. Because again, you know what that's how that saying goes? What, like, hit dogs holler? You scroll through their page and they're double, triple, quadrupling down on no AI. Human, no AI, big bold emojis. Here in the piece that was proven to be AI, not AI, bold, like capital text, big emojis next to it. Since people call me using AI for textures, here's a tutorial. I'm personally not buying it. Again, don't send hate to this artist or anybody else involved, but I would love to hear your thoughts down below after breaking down this entire analysis of this Nadiax art account. I don't know. Maybe after this, they're gonna draw me pregnant. I mean, they're not gonna be wrong. I'm not pregnant, but I'm getting a second cat. So, like, basically the same thing, you know? Like, I birthed my son myself, my cat Corn, and I will be birthing my other. I don't know what gender the cat is. I think it's a girl, but I'll be birthing the kitty in 2 weeks. So we'll be getting a little kitty that I haven't decided on the name yet. But I don't want to say it because if I say the name and then I give it a new name and you guys like the new name, then I'm gonna feel bad for the old name. But there's a name I'm cooking up, okay? And it's based on food and Disney characters. I don't think anybody's gonna be able to guess it, but yeah. So anyways, if you like the video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on VGen, where I'm selling art now, and I also have a coffee with free resources for streamers and creators, and I also stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. So hope to catch you guys there or in another one of my videos.